Dear judges of the International Court, Chio Bengang ana Vinzealhar Ainjo Nen, Yaning Parats ana Zinimp, Watut, Morobe Province. Hello, my name is Vinzealhar Ainjo Nen. I come from Zinimp in Watut in Morobe Province of Papua New Guinea. From where I come from in Watut, we've had frequent floods. In the past, it would be like around twice a year. We would have family members call in to talk about what they needed because a flood washed away a house. But now we experience floods like 2-3 times a month. And for my local community, it's really difficult because we are one of the most isolated parts of Papua New Guinea. In the past, it would take us around 8 hours of road travel, and then 16 hours of a boat ride, and then 6 hours walking until we get to our village. So it's difficult for them to commute from the village to the local towns to get help. Another thing with the floods, it means that communities have to relocate to places where there's not a lot of floods. So as you can imagine, when people move, there's a lot of land disputes with the original landowners, or also with people who have bought land and have settled there as well. I've been a climate activist and advocate in Papua New Guinea for a while, and one of the communities that I wanted to highlight today is a small community in Isipik province. It's an island community. It's a small island that's around 4 hours away from the main city center, and it's one of the least developed islands. And something that really struck, I would say, was an event that occurred in 2019 where ocean boundaries were disrespected. So there's 2 islands. In the past, like from the ancestors, they had an agreement that there was a certain part of the ocean that one island would use and the bigger island would use the bigger portion. But because of the climate crisis, because of coral bleaching and all the other problems that have caused environmental damage, the people from the larger island, their population grew bigger. And because of that, they had to come into the space of where the smaller island, where they normally go and fish. It created conflict between the 2 islands, and it resulted in a young man being speared in his hip. And you know, this is what the climate crisis has come to. It's not something seasonal. It's not something that will happen today and it will be gone tomorrow for us living in the islands. It's much bigger than that. I would say that the climate crisis for a small island like Papua New Guinea would be that it's cross-cutting. It doesn't just affect the environment or our livelihoods. It affects education systems. It affects the health systems as well. Some of these problems have existed in the past, but with the climate crisis and the population increase, it sort of expanded the horizons of our problems. Dear judges, the climate crisis is a violation of our human rights. For Papua New Guinea, the right to clean water, the right to education, the right to health, the right to self-determination. Our communities didn't ask to have our human rights violated in this way. I really hope that we could come up with solutions for the people who are most vulnerable and the people who have a lot to lose as a result of this crisis. Dear judges, I hope that you be on the right side of history and choose human rights.